Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Word of the day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 231. I was playing the intro, man.
Oh.
I said I'm playing the intro.
And half the time, whenever we're on here, you're talking to me, and then you're talking to yourself, and I never know which, and it just confuses me.
You just have to know, man. I thought we were like in sync, and we were like bye bye bye.
I want it that way. Is that in sync?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah. Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 231. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. With me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
I want it that way, Remington.
Yeah?
Which way? Which way, you ask?
That way.
That way.
Not this way, not that other way, but that way.
Yeah, this way specifically.
Yeah.
So how's it going?
I am doing well. That's not what I wanted to do, but that's okay.
You did want to do well?
Yeah, I didn't want to do well.
I'm fucking ready to go. I haven't done Dueling Ogres in what feels like months because it has been months.
Because it has been months.
And I'm ready to go. I don't know how good this is going to be, but the people who listen to this podcast are going to download and listen to this regardless, and they will be happy that we're here, and we're happy that they're listening. So fuck it all.
Yeah.
In a good way, right?
Yeah. Where was I? I was your host. This my co-host.
I introduced myself and I said hello.
Did I not do
and then
the rest of it?
The podcast starts.
I didn't do the rest of it, though.
Thank you for joining us, as always, on this stupid Remington messed it up.
Thank you for joining us on this supine Thursday evening Earth date, July 20th. 2023. Like, I've got the date right in front of me on my fucking computer. I just forgot what 7 was.
How many monitors do you have right now?
I have 2 monitors and two monitors, a phone, and a tablet in front of me.
Okay, so the date is displayed prominently on all 4 of those things.
No, it's displayed prominently on 2 of those things.
Okay, fair enough.
The 2 monitors because the phone's asleep and the tablet is rocking touch portal. That way I can control the things.
I have a 16-year-old child, and you are still more of a contrarian when it comes to arguing with me.
That's because we've been friends longer than they've been alive.
That's true.
So how about you, man? How have you been?
I have been good. Let me pull up my notes here because it's been a while, and I wanted to get some basic stuff out.
Okay. So
the big news for me is I got a cat, as you know. You and your girlfriend you and Ginger came to see the cat. Would you, as an aside, girlfriend, do you have a specific term for you and Ginger now? You guys are basically living.
Yeah, we're basically married.
Commonwealth.
Girlfriend, occasionally, the missus.
The old ball and chain. Does she like that one?
Yep, she loves it when I call her that. Absolutely adores it.
The camera pans over and she's in the doorway holding a rolling pin.
Fucking smoldering.
I'll kill you.
You're dead. You're a dead man.
Yes, I got a cat.
Yes.
She's adorable. I named her Caroline. She is 9 months old, roughly. I don't know exactly. That's just what I was told.
Yeah.
I don't know
how to cat.
She's hiding right here, so you can barely see her. If you're watching on YouTube, what I'm pointing at is her little rumpus. But she's mostly hidden. So I'm learning how to cat. It's been fun. She is very much like a dog. I guess I just didn't know that some cats can be like that.
Yeah.
So she follows me from room to room, and she does a really weird thing where she stands outside the bathroom when I pee and poop.
That's not
guarding
weird.
me.
That's not weird. And that's also an animal thing. And it's also not weird for
humans to do
a
it.
Cat to follow you.
It just seems strange to me. I haven't had a fucking cat in forever.
Exactly. So I'm just telling you, as a cat owner, as many cat owner, cats love to watch you shit.
But why? What do you think are they protecting you?
Yeah, that's kind of part of it. They also just like the smell of it.
Gross.
Yeah.
Animals are fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they're vile little creatures. Kaya, in her insatiable need to eat everything on this prednisone, likes to eat cat poop. So
Kaya is Remington's girlfriend, if you're a listener.
I'll be sure that she listens to this episode.
No,
then she'll be like, I hate that Brandon guy.
I will kill even more than I already did. I've been doing a lot of AI art, which we've discussed, and I'm all over the place as far as it goes. I've been doing it a lot, generating AI art using Leonardo AI, which you turned me on to.
Yep. It's incredible.
It's fantastic.
This is the artwork for it that we came up with on the fly just now for episode 231, Sun Farts. That sun is exploding in farts.
Yes, it is holding in an explosive fart. He looks embarrassed as he rockets towards the horizon. So you can't get too wordy with it. Like, he's not rocketing towards the horizon. I would venture to say he is at the horizon exploding, but I don't see him rocketing towards anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fantastic. I started out with Pixlr, and then I moved from that to Starry AI, which was good. And I still use Starry AI. You can generate 4 images 5 times per day. And it does really great backgrounds, which I've been using for D&D.
Yeah.
But as far as people and animals and stuff go, Leonardo AI is the way to go.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're watching or listening and you want to check out AI art, check out Leonardo. Yeah. You have to sign up for it. I use my Google account. It took them like 6 hours to accept me into it. Kind of shitty. I mean, you get 150 tokens.
Still, it's in beta too.
Yes.
So I mean, they're kind of gatekeeping because of that technically it's in beta, even though it's a fully functioning thing. And
there's a lot of stuff they keep adding to it as well.
Yeah, they just keep throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I think it's interesting too because with the Chat GPT that's recently gotten in trouble with a couple of different writers who have come forward, including that comedian whose name I can't remember at the moment.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that.
Well, anyway, it's been kind of a big thing. Not something that we're going to cover on the podcast, obviously, today.
So not that big.
Not that big. No, I just it's a little old now, so I just figured I'd skip it. But yeah, they're coming up against another lawsuit about improperly using books and stuff to train off of. And
oh yeah, I did see some of that.
So I mean, it's really tough. I feel like AI definitely needs to be training off of stuff that is either public domain or is legally procured. So like say, I mean, there's tons of websites that have millions of images that you can pay for.
Isn't Alamy? Isn't that one of the big ones?
Could be. I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't heard of that one. But like even Envato has graphics. It's got video. It's got a little bit of everything when it comes to visuals and pictures and stuff like that. And to me, I mean, if the person or persons who are coding the AI pay for a subscription to utilize that stuff to train off of.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the thing is, we've talked about AI a lot on this podcast, especially in the past few episodes. So over the past 4 episodes or 7 years, that those 4 episodes have come out. We've talked about We've talked about AI. My opinion at this point, having now dipped my dirty little fingers into this computer art generation for a while, is I'm going to get in while the getting's good. And I would recommend that to anybody who's interested in it. Get in while you can. Get in while there's betas where you're not getting charged for stuff. Even Leonardo AI, after a certain amount of generations, you start losing access to things. It starts like 2001 Space Odyssey shutting things down slowly. But you still get so many generations a day. But anyway, I think that my prediction, and this is not like a Nostradamus style prediction, but my prediction is that this is going to be taxed to shit. It's going to be regulated so heavily that it's not going to resemble anything that it does now. It's going to look like downloading music did, or it's going to, right now, it's like downloading music was in the late 90s and early 2000s. Back before Metallica sued Napster and caused, all of that shit.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. I know it's not very interesting to just hear 2 white dudes talking about AI art generation on a podcast, but,
Don't tell our listeners what they do and do not want to listen to.
Actually, Remington.
Yes.
This is my podcast and your podcast, exactly. So I can tell the listeners to do whatever the hell I want.
I can also tell you to
5 jumping jacks.
Fuck yourself, Brandon.
5 jumping jacks, listeners.
Do it.
That's the sound of.
Let me know if you did it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. I know you're not going to do it. If I was listening to my favorite podcast and they told me to do 5 jumping jacks, I wouldn't do 5 jumping jacks.
I might.
So if you do, fuck yeah. Third thing that I have on my list, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay.
I have had some family health issues in the past few weeks. I'm not going to go into them because I don't know how long this episode's going to take to come out. And there's one thing specifically that is weighing very heavily on my mind involving one of my parents.
Yep.
There's a surgery they're going in for in the next few days, IRL. That's why I don't want to go into it, because I feel like I would be cursing something if I got into what it is. If something bad happened during surgery and then this episode came out with me talking about it, I'd feel pretty shitty. So we'll see. But yeah, so that's what has been going on with me. And you're muted, so I can't hear you. Okay.
Yes, I know. I was telling Google to turn off Studio Fan because I realized that that was still going in the background. So hopefully,
Studio Fan.
Hopefully, I'm a little quieter.
You sound great, buddy.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah. I hope everything turns out well. I don't know how long this will take to go out. I'm not even going to promise anybody anything. Ideally, I'd like to be able to just... I mean, it's recording in private on YouTube right now, so that will just be done.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do any fancy thumbnails
beeps
or anything.
Or any,
yep.
any...
No more fancy thumbnails. I'm just going to generate the image. We'll have the artwork toggle like that. Bingo bango, right there it'll be. It'll say all of our patrons down at the bottom. That'll be a nice little shout out for everybody. We appreciate you people still giving us money.
Yeah.
I love you.
We're going to shout out the patrons, I'm sure, at the end as well, but yeah.
Yep.
So thank you. As far as my family health issues go, I will keep people updated. The final thing with AI generation, I forgot I wanted to mention this. If you go to generate something in AI, at one point, listener, put in a podcaster. Put in podcaster doing something, or my friend as a podcaster. And there is like a generic look for a podcaster that it thinks all podcasters look like, and we kind of do. If you are a white guy podcaster, and it defaults to white guy podcaster, you probably look like one of these guys.
Yeah.
So very weird. I think that AI, I'm working on a theory that AI sees us for how we really are.
Yeah.
And that's what we really are, is just horrible bearded glasses podcasters just spitting our opinions out into the nothing.
Yeah. My last thing before we get into stories is I just recently interviewed at Schwann's.
Yeah.
And I actually got a text just a little bit ago that says that they want me to come back for a second interview.
Fuck yeah, man.
So that'll be an incredible increase in pay, an incredible increase in work. It's a 50-hour work week. But still, it will probably be worth it, at least in the short term. I'm definitely one of the people who, like, once I've dug my little fingies in there, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But and I absolutely love the job that I have now too. So
but you love money more.
Well, I mean, I love being able to relax a little bit more and get everything paid off.
Yeah.
Like,
which is loving money. I wasn't saying that in like a shitty way. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Here's a for instance. If I make what they say that I'll make, at least, and I continue living on what I make a year and putting the rest of it away, I can pay the house off in 3 months or 3 years.
Damn.
That's a 20-year mortgage. Or 15 or 20. I don't remember what it is.
It's amazing.
We're down a good bit right now. And that doesn't include like what happens with the fluctuations of interest and all of that. But still, like 3 or 4 years to pay off the entire house and not have to worry about that. That would be awesome. And then house payments could go into house improvements, and actually pay people to do it instead of us having to do it ourselves.
Having to do it yourself.
Yeah, fuck that.
And I still think you need to put in a slide from your room, your little closet on the second floor, down to your garage, like a big slide, kind of blank check style.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Disney movie blank check.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate for that. For slides coming out of second story windows.
I've never heard you talk about that before, but that is a wonderful idea.
You clearly know very little about me, because right now, you can't see it, it's right out of frame. I'm wearing my advocacy for slides coming out of the second story window shirt.
I did not know you had one of those, and I am skeptical that you are actually wearing something that says anything like that.
Well, I'm hesitant to show you at this point, because I feel like any answer I have would just ruin our friendship in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because either I'm proving you right or I'm proving you wrong, you know?
Yep. That was a whole lot of face that I just saw that's coming out of a tear and has nothing to do with slides.
All right, let's hit some fucking stories, my friend. Let's get into the Dueling Ogres part of this.
Hit a story, Brandon.
Oh, you want me to go first?
You or me, I don't care.
I can.
Yeah.
All right, let me look at my stories here real quick.
Okay.
And let's go with this one, because I told my friend that I would discuss this a little bit. So my friend Cliff, we went to high school with him. Remington, you're familiar with Cliff. He has been very much into I'm doing the House Oversight Committee to hold UFO hearing next week, is the story that I've got up right now.
Gotcha.
He is very into this idea of aliens, and specifically unidentified aerial phenomena. And the idea is that we have alien technology, or we have technology that is not from Earth.
Right.
And we are discussing it. And it's the House Oversight Committee is doing speech stuff on it. I'm going to admit now that I have not read this story ahead of time.
Okay.
I told him I would discuss it, and then I just put it in our big head chat, and I went from there.
Yep. I would like to interject that this is from ABC News. It's also has like a video that auto plays, which is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. ABC News, don't do autoplay videos on your website.
And it has a fucking ad like every 3 sentences on here.
Yep. And
it's terrible.
Right now it's an ad of Rapunzel. So enjoy that picture of Rapunzel.
Yeah. So my opinion on it is this, and let's go over, because it's been a while and people, even our regular listeners, the ones who are still alive, may not remember what our opinions are on aliens. So Remington, aliens? Does the government have alien technology, as in extraterrestrial technology?
I think
yes or no.
I think it's just as possible as anything. I'm not going to give you a yes or no because I don't.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, it's a loaded story, or it's a loaded fucking question. You can't just give a yes
loaded.
or no.
It's not that loaded. I'm not asking you what you want on your nachos. I'm just asking you if the government has.
I want
alien
loaded
technology.
nachos. Now I'm hungry for loaded nachos. Thanks, asshole.
Do you want the jalapenos? Do you want the sour cream?
Yes.
It's all over the place. Okay, so you think that it is possible, but you're not willing to commit 100% that it is real.
Yeah,
we do have alien technology.
And that just goes back to the fact that the universe is massive, and while it is possible that there is life that is even ahead of us, there has still yet to be any like concrete evidence that's just appeared for us to see. So whether that be aliens who are far ahead of us technologically and they're hiding, or we are just a weird anomaly of the universe, either of those things are just as likely as the other.
Okay, so here's a little bit from the article.
Okay.
The hearing comes after Republican lawmakers, which in my mind, sorry, right-leaning listeners, but I hear Republican lawmakers and I'm like, okay, what kind of bullshittery is about to happen and why do they suddenly care about aliens? That's just me.
Because it deflects from other things like infrastructure.
See, and that was my argument that I'm having with my friend Cliff, is I'm like, this is all interesting and this is all very well could be true. I agree. I would not be surprised at all. But there's so much important shit happening with the Supreme Court and with other stuff right now that I feel like this is especially because this is the House Oversight Committee that is doing this. Mm-hmm. And if you look into what the House Oversight Committee has done, what other oversight bullshit it has done, it has been very leaning one way. Anyway, right. The hearing comes after Republican lawmakers have promised to look deeper into unidentified aerial phenomena, unconfirmed claims from a former intelligence official that the U.S. military had allegedly found crashed alien spacecraft. The Pentagon has said it hasn't discovered any information to substantiate this claim. Mm-hmm. David Grush, the former intelligence community official, had alleged last month that the U.S. government has a covert program focused on recovering debris from crashed, non-human origin spacecraft and is attempting to reverse engineer the technology, the online tech outlet The Debrief reported. So this dude's saying that they've discovered alien technology and they're trying to reverse engineer it. So they found a fucking laser gun is what I'm hearing. And they're trying to figure out how to make it shoot, how to build their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, that's my view on that. It 100% could be and have been reverse engineering alien tech.
Grush will testify at the upcoming hearing, along with two former Navy pilots, including one who recorded a widely seen video of a UAP near his fighter jet. I'm not sure who Burchett is. I think Burchett is the representative spearheading this. Okay. We're not going to bring you in a saucer or a little green man. That's not what it's going to be about, Burchett said Thursday. But the reality is the American public deserves to know. And you better be careful about a government doesn't trust its people. That doesn't make sense.
Well, that was probably a typo on ABC News' part.
Either a typo because they were too busy getting ready for the next pop-up ad, or this guy just forgot how to speech halfway through.
Yep. Or
you better be careful about a government doesn't trust its people.
It could be because ChatGPT wrote this article and just happened to leave that part out.
It probably did.
And there is a picture of a potential UAP out in the distance there. Night vision goggles. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was asked Monday if he believes in extraterrestrial life in light of Burchett's announcement of the hearing. I will continue to see, McCarthy told reporters with a grin, but I think if we had found a UFO, I think the Department of Defense would tell us because they would probably want to request more money.
Okay, so...
because they don't get enough.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He says that with like okay, so I'm not a fan of Kevin McCarthy.
Uh-huh.
But he says it with like a smirk. Even in the fucking article, it says he says it with a smile or a smirk or something. Mm-hmm. And it's just like they know more. Those people in power know more about if there are aliens or not. Like I don't have a horse in this race, really. I believe that there are aliens, and I don't think that there is evidence that could be proven that there are not aliens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that there's more overwhelming evidence that we aren't alone than there is that we are alone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these motherfuckers know so much more than we do about this kind of stuff, about what the truth is, about whether there are things. And then they just give like smart ass little smiles and wry comments about wanting more money. And I don't know. I'm very jaded.
Or they don't know shit and they just think it's funny to jerk around people.
You don't think that he knows if there's aliens?
Kevin McCarthy?
No. The Speaker of the House?
No, I don't think he knows shit.
You don't think the Speaker of the House does?
No, I don't think.
Nancy Pelosi didn't know?
Nope, I don't think any of them know shit.
Yeah.
I think if anybody is going to know whether or not there is, it's going to be the CIA or the FBI.
Yeah.
And I think that will be, and maybe parts of the Air Force or whatever, because, you know, they're flying things. So, but I mean, you know, we made Space Force for a reason.
Yep.
And
to
that's
distract us from other stuff.
That's to fight aliens.
Punch them right in their green, stupid faces.
Yep.
So that's all I got on that story. Remington, hit me with your best shot.
Okay. What
Love
would
is a
you?
Battlefield.
I think I'll start light.
Okay.
I'll start light with. I thought that this was a very, or should or no. Let's continue on. We'll call this our space news that I don't have any reverb for anymore.
Oh no. Come on down.
Come on down, stop on by, hop a carpet and fly to another Arabian night. I'm sorry.
Where they cut off your hand if you don't like your face. All right, we gotta cut that. Cut that.
Yeah.
They did cut that out of the
They did,
movie,
yep.
actually.
They cut it out of the original, which is the saddest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was problematic or whatever. So I have, I'll start off with something that's light, and that's not because it's the only thing that lights our sky. No. The sun is defying forecasts. This is from Axios. The sun's activity is defying forecasts and highlighting how difficult it is to predict the machinations of Earth's nearest star. Why it matters: space weather, which is largely driven by the sun, can shorten the lifespans of satellites, cause radio blackouts, and in extreme solar storms, bring down power grids. Predicting and understanding the inner workings of the sun is key to figuring out how it might behave in the short and long term. Predictions from 2020 suggest that the sun would reach its peak of its 11-year solar cycle in 2025, and its intensity would be on par with the last cycle, but current observations show its activity could now peak as early as 2024. The current cycle is also on track to be more extreme, with more solar flares, sunspots, and activity than the previous one, though not as big as others on record. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Space Weather Prediction Center, SWPC, is responsible for predicting and forecasting space weather on any given day. It uses instruments in space and on Earth to gather data about the electrically charged solar plasma constantly emitted by the sun. And so before I continue on, do you know about solar flares and what its effect on the Earth can be?
There was a speedrunner who was playing, I can't remember what game it was, I think it was a Mario game, and he holds the world record, and the only explanation for how he holds the world record is that a solar flare changed a 1 into a 0 on the Nintendo game he was playing, that caused it to change the time. So yes, I know all about solar flares because of that. Yeah.
And it's, I've noticed it just in systems around work and stuff. Like I've noticed, when Google is like loading a little slower than it should be, or it's not as big of an issue on like big machines like I have here and like you have, where, you know, we have a high amount of RAM and a high processor and all of that stuff. But like on the work computers that are basically glorified bean counters, and then the point of sale system that we run is cloud based. So I like your smirk on that. Your feelings seem like they're the exact same as mine when I got that news.
Yep.
And then like when we try to load in or like when we receive an email, usually it's almost instantaneous. Maybe there's a little bit of a delay if it's got like a heavy PDF on it. But I've noticed that even ones that are just sending a link for us to look at somebody's Amazon return to print off the label for them, I mean, it'll take several minutes, which is insane. Put your hand up to the camera and refocus.
My camera does that, and I don't know why. It'll like unfocus me. I'll just be a ghost from now on.
Okay.
Ghost in the Brandon. It'll focus. Let's just keep going. It'll take me back.
So, sunspots or dark areas on the face of the sun can spit out major solar flares that sometimes come with coronal mass ejections, bursts of electrically charged plasma that can interfere with satellites, electrical grids, and supercharge the auroras. Of course, that is one of the cool things about solar flares, is that they do make the auroras reach far further south than they would previously do, which is beautiful and fascinating. And that those ribbons that we see is the electrically charged plasma that is like hitting the earth and getting caught in the magnetic fields and just like roiling around. That's insane. If coronal holes or cooler spots in the sun's atmosphere rotate into the view of the Earth, they can send extremely fast solar winds into our part of space, warping the Earth's magnetic fields in the process. The sun is extremely complicated, and even after decades of study, researchers don't understand exactly how it works. Quote, when you see a big sunspot, what's the chance that it's going to erupt and give us a big solar flare and coronal mass ejection? NASA scientist Alex Young tells Axios, we don't understand the factors that go into what makes it release its energy. Last week, a viral story based on a misinterpreted forecast suggests a large number of people would be able to see the northern lights in the U.S. The forecast also changed dramatically, dashing hopes for a good aurora show. So, yeah.
So I'm not following so far what this story is about exactly.
It's really just about the...
Just talking about solar flares?
Yeah, it's just talking about the fact that the sun it's not doing what it was predicted that it was supposed to be doing. Like, we weren't supposed to see this kind of activity from the sun until 2025. It's happening earlier than we thought it would. And I mean, it's fascinating to me because sometimes when you see stories like this, and this world of instant gratification that we live in is like, you know, we constantly see changes of this and that and the other around us, and we're constantly expecting like things to be on track or whatever, or to work out the way we expect them to work out when it's supposed to. That sort of thing. Like, we've been conditioned more and more into that kind of mentality. The sun is billions of years old.
I actually believe that the sun is only 30,000 years old.
Shut up.
And the Earth is... Shut up.
Shut up, Brandon. Just shut up. Your joke is dumb.
Got me. I don't really believe that.
But yeah, like, just like our weather in general, like, which has existed for hundreds of thousands of years, it's going to change over time, and it's not going to act in the same way that it was acting years before. Like,
man,
there's constant changes happening all the time, and they're in the span of the universe. They're micro changes, right? Like they're insignificant blips, less than the life of a neutron or whatever, or a quark in the scheme of the universe. But all of those add up, just like anything. It's just like if you're collecting pennies, eventually you're going to have 2 million pennies, and that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it feels like everything is going to shit as far as the world goes. And I'm not even saying politically. Excuse me. But with like the climate and it being just the hottest day every day, all the time now. And science basically said, and I can't remember if it was on this podcast or my other podcast that I do, which I'll talk about later, where I had this thought that scientists said we're past the point of no return.
Yeah.
And they said that, like 5-6 years ago at this point? We've been past the point of no return. Like it was just within the last 10.
Yeah, it was. I think it was within the last 5. I think
the
it was
tipping point where they were like, well, it's too late now.
Yeah.
And that's just the world we're living in. Yeah. And we're a comedy podcast, so I'm not going to get too heavy on that. But like, how are you supposed to raise a fucking kid in a world where you think that every day is just the hottest it's ever been, that the world just doesn't exist?
Well, is
it going to continue to exist?
Here's another little fun wrench to throw into your kid raising story.
Okay.
Yosemite was supposed to have already exploded. We're sitting on a time bomb that could completely annihilate the world.
Yosemite?
Mm-hmm.
How big is Yosemite?
Gigantic.
Like if it exploded, it would be like
it would send up enough if it truly volcanically exploded, it would send up enough debris to send us into another ice age.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that means
so there's just the world could end at any time.
Exactly. So and that's where I go. When I start thinking about this stuff, like there's where you and I differ tremendously, and part of it is because you have a kid, but you've always been this way. Where
what way?
Where you're concerned about this future thing, and it's not that I'm not, but it gives you anxiety.
Mm.
Whereas I'm concerned about it. Like I try to do what I can to mitigate my carbon footprint. I don't do as much as I should. I don't do as much as I could, but I still try.
Yeah.
And I think that if everybody did try, like truly everybody did try, then we could make some kind of a difference. That being said, I'm also under no illusions about the fact that anything could kill me at any moment. Like a solar flare could hit the Earth and send a plane rocketing out of the sky into my house, and I die while I'm recording this podcast. And then you log in and publish it because that's what I want you to do.
Oh, fuck yeah, I would.
And that would be the last thing that I had.
I would put it on YouTube. Piece of shit podcaster.
Dies in a freak solar flare accident.
Prank goes wrong.
Or, Yosemite blowing up and we have to, kills billions of people. And then the few that survive have to become survivalists to the nth degree because there's going to be unbreathable air. You're going to have to go underground. You're going to have to figure out how to grow your own shit. There's not going to be any electricity. You're literally going back to the Stone Age.
I know. And people will riot and eat each other and it'll be all terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen in my kid's lifetime, but within their kid's lifetime, maybe. I don't know. And that's the fucking thing. And every generation has also been saying that it's the last generation, at least some of them. So who knows? I don't know. I don't mean to be alarmist, but the sky is falling and we all need to get the fuck out of here.
But like you said, that's been said for fucking 100 years or better.
Since time immemorial.
Yep, exactly.
So I want to go to a story now, unless you still had more Rem.
I have like more space stuff, but I'm not super concerned. Wait, do I? That was that. Oh yeah, I had the Perseverance. I also have, and we don't have to go through all of these today either.
You want to do your space stories then? Just keep basing it up. Take me on a.
Well, I mean, we were
talking
about aliens, so I can do the NASA's Perseverance findings.
Yeah.
So let me give a look-see over to that and put that into the thing. This is from Gizmodo, and I gotta be on that page in order for that to happen. NASA's Perseverance rover finds preserved organic molecules on Mars. It's not preserved matter from biological organisms, but the discovery is a boost to the rover's mission, finding signs of ancient life on Mars. This was published July 12th by Isaac Schultz.
Good old Isaac Schultz. I love peanuts.
Here you can see a picture of Perseverance and the Ingenuity helicopter in the Jezero crater. It's a little GIF of the rover just turning its camera toward the other camera that's recording it. It's super cute. Yeah, it looks like, wow. Researchers poring over imagery and data from the Perseverance rover on Mars have found evidence of organic molecules in the planet's Jezero crater, potentially providing evidence of the planet's carbon cycles and its ability to host life. The discovery is by no means a confirmation that life once existed on Mars, to be clear. Just because it has... Yeah, don't give me the booze.
Boo.
The discovery is by no means life, blah, 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 blah. But it is a sign that conditions necessary for life as we know it once did exist on Mars. Perseverance is investigating many aspects of the fourth planet from the sun, but chief among them is whether or not Mars hosted life in its ancient past. The researchers found signals of organic molecules in all 10 of the targets. Perseverance scrutinized with its Sherlock instrument. The team's recent research describing the organic mineral associations around Jezero was published today in Nature. Perseverance has been roaming the western end of the Jezero crater since it landed on Mars in February 2021. Since then, the rover has collected a cache of rock samples that should, if all goes well, be brought back to Earth in the early 2030s. It's
coming back with Martian rocks?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, brah.
Okay.
But Perseverance isn't just rock collecting. Scientists are using cameras aboard the rover to study the Martian terrain. Sweeping views of the rover's environs offer evidence of where turbulent rivers once flowed on the now arid planet, while close-up shots by Perseverance's Sherlock camera offers new insights into the chemistry of Martian rock. So there is more to that article. Again, all links will be in the description below, but yeah.
I just got to say, Remington, you stopped reading right before the most important part of this article. Our results support observations by previous robotic missions to Mars that the red planet was once rich in organic material, compounds made primarily of carbon and hydrogen, and that some of that organic material can still be detected billions of years later, said study co-author Joseph Razzle Hollis. An astrobiologist, which sounds like a fucking awesome job to have.
Right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
An astrobiologist. Even better than
a
train
biologist.
Worker.
Train worker?
Yeah, even better than somebody who works at a train yard. As far as like sexy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a little bit more sexy than train worker.
Astrobiologist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you agree or disagree? Or you have no opinion. You are
I'm more confused than anything.
See, what I'm doing, Remington, is making a reference to an old joke we had where we did an episode talking about people who worked in train yards and how they were the sexiest people alive. You don't remember any of this?
I think that was in the different life that you came from.
No, because then we talked about Pony Express people. Terry commented on it. It was a whole thing. Viscount Terry W. Irvin II. If you listen to this, comment and let us know you have somebody in your family or a friend works at a train yard. Tell me I'm not insane.
Brandon.
Please tell me I'm not insane.
Brandon, I just want to let you know that I believe you, but I don't remember shit.
You don't. Damn it. You just blew my mind. Oh, cool. Ad is playing.
Oh, sweet.
NASA Perseverance.
Yeah. So yeah, that is my NASA one. So
pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Is there life on Mars? David Bowie posited that question, and I would say that it appears that while there is not life on Mars now, is the Perseverance life? No, it's not, right?
Nope, it's not.
Proof of life. If an alien were to come to Mars, it would be proof of life.
Yes, because it is a humanoid-made construction.
But it has no bacteria on it. Wasn't there a whole thing where they make sure that there is absolutely no cross bacteria that goes into space?
Yep, that's a thing that they desperately tried to do, yes.
So even if an alien were to capture Perseverance, it would not be able to get any of our bacteria.
Right. In theory.
Damn it.
Yep.
There goes my movie idea.
But I mean, we've sent stuff out on the Voyager, I'm pretty sure. Like samples of all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
So
and how sure were we in the 50s when we were launching shit into space? And the Russians, were they scrubbing everything down? No, they were just catapulting dogs and shit into space.
Yet, comrade. All right, you got another one for me?
I do. Let me find it. So I was going to talk about the writer's strike. I had a good segue for it, but I don't remember what it was now because we went back to space news.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the writer's strike, real quick, I just want to say I don't understand a whole lot about it. Mm-hmm. What it comes down to from what I read is that writers and actors are asking for better pay. They're asking through the unions for better representation and shit.
SAG and
because
WAG.
Of AI. Yes, because of AI, because of streaming, just people being taken advantage of. AI, CGI being used to make actors without their permission. You know,
which I don't know how much of that's actually happening. Like, I mean, we have the ones that have passed, but hadn't they got permission from, their families and stuff to make it happen?
Probably. I would think that they probably covered their asses because it was so new. They probably were like, well, we're going to get permission, but we don't have to get permission, but we'll get permission. Wink,
Yeah, it's kind of like Weird Al doing a parody. Like he gets a hold of the people and gets confirmation that he can do it.
Yeah, and maybe that's where part of it is. I'm going to have to plead ignorance here. I wanted to bring this up just because I wanted to say that I stand in solidarity with unions as far as it goes. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I do hate capitalists and anybody who sucks.
Okay. That's a whole other conversation that we can have. Do you have any specifics on the like the one that you
Why are
posted?
you being so shitty? I'm just trying to say here that as far as it goes, do you know anything about this story then? Do you have anything that you can bring to this story?
No.
Okay. Do you have any opinion on unions as far as it goes, or as far as
I have tons of opinions on unions.
Do you have opinions on unions specifically with SAG-AFTRA?
No.
Okay, well then tell me more about Space Remington.
That's it. That's all that we were gonna do on that one.
Yep.
Okay, I thought you were gonna talk about Ron Perlman.
Nope.
Well, thanks for getting me excited for nothing. All right, so I'm gonna dip into some. Now I'm done with the space. There's no more space. There is only Zool. But I will get into some D&D stuff. I have one like kind of relevant story. Are you still there? Okay, I didn't see you moving at all. So.
No, I'm here. I was just scrolling through.
Yeah, until I saw your eyes shift, and I was like, "Oh wait, he's there." So, this is one from the D&D movie. So Ginger and I just recently watched it here at the house, and just a sec. Erase that for a second, because it's on Screen Rant, and they have a dark background with white text, and I needed to remove the fact that I have a white background going because it didn't change the text. So Honor Among Thieves' cut character would have set up several D&D movies. So the character who was cut from D&D, Honor Among Thieves, would have inadvertently laid the groundwork for several more adaptations of D&D. It's been confirmed that prior to filming, there was a plan in place for a major D&D hero to play a significant role in the film. According to Honor Among Thieves producers Jeremy Latcham, Drizzt was... Did I really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never read the Drizzt books.
Yeah. Was supposed to appear in a significant capacity. Apparently, he would have filled the role of Xenk's character. They have the whole name here, but I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. The overpowered paladin whose fighting skills put theirs to shame. In taking his place, Drizzt would have been the character to lead them through the Underdark and help them fight the Thembershad. Thank you.
It's French.
However, it was not to be. As Latcham said, rights issues kept his cameo from happening. As a result, Drizzt was written out of the story, and thus Xenk was born. Had he not been taken out of the movies, Drizzt's cameo would have carried with it massive implications for the franchise's future. So what do you think about that part? Because the D&D movies are interesting in the fact that, like, the first two were kind of tied together with the ancillary bad guy under Jeremy Irons became
blue-lipped guy.
Yeah, became the main bad guy in the second film, and I don't think that he had a part in Book of Vile Darkness. So
I don't know.
If I remember correctly, he did not. So the point being is that the D&D movies have been very, very loosely, if at all, tied together. And it's really just, instead of it being a full campaign, it's like you're watching a module play out.
Yeah. And Drizzt is such a big character that if they're going to introduce him, they need to introduce him in his own movie. I think that would pull people. Yeah,
I agree. I think that, I mean, he's, the article goes on to say that, he's been established for a long, long time as one of the Forgotten Realms' most renowned heroes. So I'll just go ahead and read through a little bit more. They weren't shown in Honor Among Thieves, but the Underdark is the home of the race of the Dark Elves, known as the Drow, known for their evil ways and their devout worship of the spider goddess Lolth. The Drow are among the most hated people in the Forgotten Realms. In Dungeons & Dragons, Drizzt goes against the common perception of the Drow by acting as a force for good. Introduced in R.A. Salvatore's The Crystal Shard novel, Drizzt turned his back on the Drow years ago and left the Underdark to build a better life for himself. Encountering great prejudice from the people on the surface due to being a Drow, Drizzt worked to overcome the hatred he endured and establish himself as one of Forgotten Realms' most renowned heroes. Over the years, he has developed a strong support cast of characters to go along with his stories, and that goes back to what you were talking about. Like, he needs, if he is going to be included in something, he needs to have his own movie. I think a cameo would be fine, but I wouldn't want him to have a cameo that is long stretching in another.
I've changed my mind. I think he would have been perfect for the Xenk role.
Yeah.
As far as that cameo goes, because with the way that Wizards has gone with the Drow lately, as far as like pulling away from them always being evil. I think that Drizzt is going to they're going to have to change him intrinsically as a character, because one of his big things, and granted, like I said, I haven't read him, but I know he is a good Drow. That's like his thing.
Yeah.
But if the Drow aren't inherently evil, then there's nothing special about a good Drow. So they're going to have to find a way to make him special.
So that goes back to kind of a conversation that we've had before, in that the races of D&D that had been deemed evil before really just kind of come from hard places. You know? So
What
like
do you mean?
the Underdark is a cruel and hard place to live. So you have to do things that are potentially morally questionable to survive there, versus what you might have to do in on the surface world. So
yeah, well, and the Drow are just inherently evil, and that's what they were getting away from, is just a race that is just evil.
That's where I was going. Like, they can do that. They can just, in fact, Xenk set the stage for the Underdark being an incredibly cruel place to be. Mm-hmm. They don't have to play something as inherently evil. They just have to say, you know, this group of people have had incredible hardships, and their views don't necessarily match with those of wherever the heroes had come from. You know, that doesn't make them good or evil. That just makes it, you know, morally questionable from a single perspective.
I have got to the point with everything going on in life and everything that I've talked about as far as feeling like the world is going to shit, where I just have stopped caring about this kind of stuff. Like, I care about representation. I care about... I want people to feel represented in the things that they enjoy. So if somebody's bothered by D&D, if there are groups of people out there who are genuinely bothered by orcs or drow being characterized as evil because they're dark-skinned, or because in orcs' case they're tribal, or like Magic the Gathering, and this is kind of part and parcel because this is Wizards of the Coast as well, they are going to stop using the term tribal, which in Magic the Gathering is a term used on the cards as something. Yeah. Like it's a mechanic.
Yeah.
But they've said that they're going to stop using it because of the implications and stuff. And I hear that when I was younger, like in my 20s, I would hear that and be like, that's so fucking stupid. And then in my mid-30s, I would hear that and be like, you know, good for them. And now I've hit a middle part where I'm just like, if it makes people happy, do it, I guess. But I don't care either way, really.
Right. Well, and
is that a good thing, or is that apathy that I've just given up on life?
I mean, that could be some apathy for sure, but at the same time, I feel like you're reaching that middle ground of true awakenedness, not wokeness, but awakenedness. Is that while human rights matter, and this is not where I was wanting this fucking story to go. Thank you for this.
Well, I took us here.
While human rights absolutely and certainly matter, and we should be like treating each other the way we want to be treated, like golden rule number 1. That's, you know, if you don't want to be called a name, don't fucking call people names. But there are words in the English language that exist because it's just a way to categorize. That's all words are, really, is a categorization of one thing or another and ways to explain them. So like taking out tribal is one of those weird examples that is truly just dumb.
It seems, thank you. It seems like an overcorrection like, did anybody ask for this? Maybe, but how many?
No people who consider themselves tribal give a fuck if a mechanic in Magic is called tribal.
Yeah.
Especially if the idea behind that mechanic is a small collection of people who get together to accomplish a thing. That's a tribe.
Yeah, there's elven tribal, goblin tribal, soldiers. Any creature type in Magic is a tribe.
Yeah. And that's just it's almost like replacing the word race.
Uh-oh. Okay, I took us too far.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like what you just said was they basically replaced the word race with tribe, and now they're replacing the word tribe with what? Like the implication of what it is still there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what gets me. And I think that part of it too, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine. I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 39 in just a couple of months, 40 next year. The testosterone in my body is slowly wrenching down. And I'm just less and less confrontational about things, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I will stand personally with anybody who wants me to stand there with them and hold their hand and support somebody, I will. But as far as actively going out, I just feel like I've got so much going on in my own life. And that makes me such a fucking awful advocate, you know?
I mean, if that's what you want to view yourself as, but the long and the short of it is there's this fine line between properly treating each other and advocacy and the like, that, and then making your entire life about that and not accomplishing, not necessarily accomplishing something in that sphere because it's so overhyped right now, but also not accomplishing anything else in your life because you're so concerned with something that you haven't been able to affect.
Well, we had on I'll go ahead and mention it now. On the other podcast I do, We're Probably Not Okay. You can find, because we're probably winding down at this point, I assume.
Yeah.
On my other podcast, We're Probably Not Okay, we did an episode about causes and the things that we personally champion. And this is kind of what got me into thinking that, like, besides championing the people in my own life, I don't really champion a whole lot of other causes. So I will pose this question to you, and I'm kind of posing it out of nowhere, so I apologize for putting you on the spot, but do you have anything that you would say you champion? I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it?
How long have you known me?
Since 7th grade. We graduated in 2002, so a while.
How often have I ever been vocal about an area that is small in the scope of the planet?
I'm not sure exactly what you're asking.
So I've always stood behind different ways to produce energy. So hydro, solar, whatever that gets us away from fossil fuels. Any of that stuff, because the technology is there and it exists, and the only thing that's keeping it from flourishing and taking over the entire planet is lobbyists and people.
Yep.
Just people. And
back to what I said earlier, people who suck.
Yeah. And the idea of human rights is one of those things that I don't feel that I can, like, champion because my view is to always just treat people well. And it baffles me that there are people out there who don't feel that way.
There's a song that I really enjoy by a band called... The song is called Your Heart is a Muscle the Size of Your Fist. The band is Ramshackle Glory, and there's a line in it where the lead singer is talking about a girl, and he says, she's such a feminist, she says she isn't one, because goddamn my gender shouldn't matter. I'm not talking about feminism in this situation, but I'm talking about, like, with what you're discussing, with standing... with how human rights should just be understood, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, you're saying that you don't champion it because you accept it as just that just should be how it is.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right in a convoluted way of saying?
Yeah. It's and I'm aware that is, you know, there are activists out there who would shit on me for that. Mm-hmm. And let them shit on me. That's just proving my point that people aren't treating people right.
Yeah. Well, and you can be self-aware enough to say that, like, you could probably do more. We could all probably do a little more, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay. I'm not saying I could definitely do more, and you for sure could do more. I mean, Christ. Oof.
I will come to your house and punch you.
Oofa doofa. All right.
Oofa doofa.
Yeah, I don't know. So my final story, if it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I just wanted to discuss real quick Baldur's Gate 3. Have you seen any news on this game? This is going to be a huge fucking launch next month.
I have been hearing rumblings, yes.
August 3rd. It was originally releasing at the end of August, but they pushed it back, or maybe November, but they pushed it back so it didn't conflict with Starfield, Bethesda's new game. Mm-hmm. They pushed it back so it released a month earlier than what it was originally. They didn't push it back later, which is surprising in this with the way they typically do games now. To get a release earlier than what you expected is rare. Mm-hmm. But regardless, this article that I have here is I'm linking to the Resetera boards, actually. Mm-hmm. And there have been some rumblings online, like you mentioned, and some interviews with other major gaming companies who are kind of shitting on Baldur's Gate 3 already and saying things. I don't have any direct quotes, and I know we're going kind of long at this point, so I'm just going to say that the main complaint from these other big companies is that Baldur's Gate 3 has set an unnecessary expectation that other games cannot keep up with.
Okay.
And that the people are losing their mind about Baldur's Gate 3. I am in the Baldur's Gate 3. I bought into early access, so I've played maybe like 10 hours of it, and it's fucking rad, man.
Yeah.
It is a really good game so far. There is 176 hours of cutscenes. Mm-hmm. Just 176 hours of cutscenes, which is fucking insane by itself. Yeah. More than Game of Thrones, I saw an article that said. More video cutscenes than Game of Thrones. But anyway, the complaint is that the game is too big. One of the quotes I saw was that it is Rockstar level big. Rockstar being the company that makes Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
And that it's just unnecessary. You can't hold big game companies to these standards, Remington. They're trying their best. We're making AAA games, and goddamn it, we're just trying our best for you, buddy.
So what about this article, like...
So, but what about the article that I linked to, and the basis of this entire thing is that this is a person who has collected the quotes from different companies talking about Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
And saying that I really picked this story because I'm excited about Baldur's Gate 3. Uh-huh. I've been playing it. And the fact that other AAA companies are saying things like,
that this game is too big? Is that what's happening?
Yes, I'm looking for a quote specifically here.
So the idea is that
the idea is that the game is too big.
That other AAA companies are saying that the game is too big.
Yes, other AAA companies are saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is too big, that it is putting expectations on the rest of the gaming companies to make games this big when there's no way they can, because Baldur's Gate 3 has been in early development for years.
No.
It's been in early access. They've had years of feedback and fan feedback, and it's just not fair.
That's the dumbest
That's why I
fucking
posted
thing.
this story.
That's so fucking stupid.
Isn't it stupid?
Nobody's asking you to hold yourself to a game standard that's been in development for fucking 5 years. Nobody's asking for you for that. Shut up.
This all started with a Twitter thread by Strange Scaffold Head. That's a name. Xavier Nelson Jr. The studio is best known for Space Warlord, Organ Trading Simulator, and the upcoming Max Payne-like shooter El Paso Elsewhere. He cited several things that separate Baldur's Gate 3 from most RPGs in the market. Long development cycle that started back in 2017.
Yep.
So 6 years, which is not that much time as far as game development goes.
It depends on the size of the crew, though.
Yeah, but 6 years. Okay, well, it goes on from there. A huge team of over 400 developers across 7 offices.
Exactly.
So this has been a big fucking game. This is a big fucking game.
And here's
with a huge company.
Here's a point of order to that too. Like, if they had their timeline, dialed right in, and they had proper communication, yeah, 5 or 6 years isn't a long time necessarily to get a game like this done that's so big. But if your shit's in order, yes, it is.
Yeah. So here's the tweet that I saw that was linked to this entire thread. And it is somebody on Twitter. I'm not going to say their name just because I don't agree with what they say. They say this whole thread, you can't be appalled about how much big games cost to make and make those lavish productions the standard by which all games are judged. I hope Baldur's Gate 3 is a generous once-in-lifetime RPG. I hope no one expects a 10, 20, or 40-person team to make one. Why? Again, it's I don't know, man.
Well,
let's just end the podcast now.
I don't understand what you don't agree. It sounded like you do agree with her. You can't be. So the thread that she's mentioning, like a lot of people, I'm deeply excited about what the lovely folks at Larian accomplished with Baldur's Gate 3.
Let me find it again.
But what I want to gently preemptively push back against players taking that excitement and using it to apply criticism or a quote-unquote raise standard to RPGs going forward. So, I mean, we're really dialing into semantics on this one because
no, this is the tweet that I was referencing.
Well, I see the tweet that you were referencing. This whole thread, you can't be appalled about how much big games cost, blah blah blah.
Yes. So saying I hope Baldur's Gate 3 is a generous once-in-lifetime RPG. Now, by itself, that tweet, I'm not saying that I disagree with that person by itself. I'm saying that I disagree with the entire idea that a company, an entertainment company, and this goes back to the SAG stuff and the writers and just these big corporations that are making so much money off of us, the entertainment companies, Okay. Are you with me so far?
Uh-huh. Continue on.
Okay. So what I'm saying is I think it is bullshit to say this game, you can't hold us to the same standards as this game. I think it's fair to say it in a certain way. If you're a small company and you're releasing an RPG, you can say, well, we're not a Baldur's Gate 3. We didn't have 400 people in 7 offices. But if you are Blizzard, which one of the people who commented on this was somebody from Blizzard who said the Rockstar comparison, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm done. I've run out of steam. I quit the podcast.
Oh, geez, Brandon. Well, now I have to end it on something a little cuter. So I'm going to do this one real quick. I do want to give a quick shout out to going back to the D&D stuff. There was an article over on Game Rant where a Dungeons and Dragons player created a simple but genius spell slot tracker, and it is a tarot-sized card that has enough slots on it to cover all the way up to like level 20 use. And you can either use copy the link. You can either use paper clips or little magnets on either side of it to... I told you to copy the link, butthead. Copy the link. Paste. Paste. There we go. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So, Hillary Snyder, known as Awakened Cabbage and Conscious Lettuce 42 on Reddit, is a Dungeons & Dragons fan, career dungeon master, and sculptor. She has created dozens of tools for D&D players, ranging from custom character sheets to t-shirts. One of Snyder's more recent creations is a clever tool that helps players keep track of their spell slots. She designed the small tarot card-sized tool with a maximum number of slots a level 20 character would have, but it could easily be used for characters at any level. Each level of spell has dots indicating how many spells they have. Using a paperclip or magnet, a D&D cleric, wizard, or other spellcaster can easily keep track of how many spells they've used without constantly writing and erasing, though players could easily use a dry erase marker on the sleeve as well. There was a little... It's not loading. Oh. It's not loading, but there was a little video on her like turning the card and how it looked and stuff. It's super cute.
I can see the video on mine.
Yeah, it's super cute. It's available on her Etsy. It's a digital printable file. And her store is called Leo's Little Dragons for only a few dollars. And if the hundreds of positive reviews her store has are any indication, her creations are of excellent quality. She has dozens of other products in her shop as well, including subclasses spell cards, printouts featuring familiars and druid wild-shaped stats on them, and even editable monster stats. With tons of tools for players and DMs alike, Snyder's shop could be perfect for both new and veteran fans, especially considering D&D's new products are being designed to be more user-friendly. So I love small creators. I've created a lot of different spreadsheets and stuff myself for D&D to make our stuff easier over the years, especially in 3.5. So I thought that was a neat little story. And then finally, I would not be doing our AI-created art piece justice if I didn't talk about the other story that prompted it.
Okay.
So new Pokemon app records your farts while you sleep. So this is from Kotaku. Yeah. Pokemon Sleep, an official Pokemon-themed free app designed to track your sleep, is out now in select countries via a soft launch following an Android-only beta in places like New Zealand and Australia. And some players have noticed that the app records noises you make while sleeping, like yawning, coughs, or even nocturnal flatulence, aka sleepy time farts. Pokemon Sleep, first announced way back in 2019, is a sleep tracking app that monitors when you fall asleep, how long it takes, the duration of your sleep, the time you wake up, and other data points. The app then uses cuddly Pokemon like Togepi or Pikachu to help illustrate how you slept the previous night, potentially allowing you to make changes to get better or more restful sleep. The more you sleep, the stronger your personal Snorlax will grow, attracting more Pokemon, some of which might even be shinies. And while it's tracking all this data and monitoring your sleeping habits and noises, it also apparently records your nasty little farts.
Yeah, I read this article as well, and I was really impressed with how it was written. Nasty little farts got me.
Yeah. As spotted by Games Radar, some players online are already sharing video clips of the various noises Pokemon Sleep has recorded during their slumbers. Some of these noises are what you'd expect, like yawns, loud coughs, cats knocking over things in the room, and tossing and turning. But because the app is always listening and recording sounds that cross a certain decibel threshold, it also means that any decently loud farts will be recorded and saved for your future listening pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
The app only holds onto these recordings for 24 hours until you fall asleep again, so the farts aren't being saved forever in some digital cloud. I mean, they probably aren't, but who really knows what you agreed to when you signed the EULA or other agreements attached to the game before installing it? Maybe all these farts are being logged somewhere for future use in Pokemon games. Probably not.
They didn't have to say probably not.
They didn't.
Stick to it, you coward.
Yeah. Yeah, show those capitalists.
Are you afraid Nintendo is going to sue you? Is that what that is?
And for those who don't want their farts recorded for posterity, don't worry. The app has the option to turn off all audio recording if you'd rather your nocturnal emissions be left a mystery. Farts in the void or something like that. So yeah, that was the last one of those. I don't know. This was a way deeper podcast than I wanted to have for our first time back in a couple of months. And
well, I feel like we weren't entirely meshing either.
I
feel like you weren't following what I was saying a lot because I was kind of weaving all over the place. Because my brain is.
I'm just glad that we ended on farts.
Me too.
Now we can hug it out.
I'm farting.
Now we can fart it out.
Did you hear about the political thing with Robert F. Kennedy, RFK? Anyway, this has nothing to do with politics at all. Are you familiar with Robert Kennedy? RFK Jr. He's going to be running as for president. Okay, he's one of the Kennedys. He's going to be running for president. Yeah. Anyway, there's a story where he was at a fundraiser just maybe a week at the most ago, and he got in an argument with somebody, and the person ended the fundraiser by yelling loudly, "I'm farting right now," as they loudly flatulated at this fundraiser. Yeah, you can look it up. He literally says, "I'm farting right now." Loud fart sends RFK Jr.'s press dinner into chaos. Into absolute unadulterated. That's hilarious. Oh, good. It's a autoplay ad. That's cool. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's all we got. Let's fucking end this thing. You are going to have a very hungry girlfriend. She probably made her own stuff. At this point, she was like fucking Remington. Yep. So after I kill Brandon, I kill him. So shout outs to our beautiful, wonderful, illustrious patrons, Jenny, Mumphrey, Heavy No More, Chad, and Bucky. We still have 5 patrons? They haven't left. Wow. They probably forgot about the dollars that they're giving to us. Well, let's thank them quietly then so they don't notice. Or we'll just send them nudes. Yeah. No. No? Come on, Brandon. Come on. Okay. All right. $5. You get my penis. If you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978 DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. Honestly, I don't know why we have a phone number. Almost nobody calls us. You bastards. Yeah. Stephen Hines has. Stephen Hines has. Always been good. Yep. And Viscount Terry W. Irvin II has called us a few times as well. Yep. And Mumphrey has as well. Yeah, so that's why we have the number. 2 of those 3 are patrons, and the other one has given us money just because he doesn't like Patreon. Yeah. So I know that Viscount Terry W. Irvin II commented on our last episode. I don't have it up because it's been so long. And looking for things is hard, yeah. It is. You can also reach us. I haven't got that part yet, Brandon. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres if you want to, because Twitter's a dumpster fire. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Facebook page. Like these nice people, Brandon, go, oh, wait, you don't have it up, so it's fine. It has been a long time. I didn't expect you to have to go looking it up. I know. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com because I said so. Also, make sure to head over to YouTube and watch our ongoing campaign, Stand for the Fire Demon, where we live play Dungeons and Dragons. Yep. We put those up, we have a bunch of episodes that I was supposed to release and I never did. Yep. So are we just putting up the episodes currently now? Like after we record on Sundays, those episodes just go up, right? Kind of. They're in the live bin, yes. Okay. So we can just release those. The idea was that I was hiding them after they were live, and I haven't even done that. So yeah. So if you want to watch them, you can catch up. Yeah. You can't really catch up. There's big holes, but just watch what is new. Yep. We do a pretty good job. I try to do a good job of explaining where we are for the most part, doing recaps, introducing characters and stuff. So if you like D&D, go check that out. It's a lot of fun. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very happy with the players that we have. Yep. And, we're getting ready to have a peak in the storyline. So the next couple of episodes coming up will be a good place to jump in.
and just continue on with a varied continuation of the storyline that we have right now.
Yeah, we'll be starting what is effectively for us a new season.
And
there will be some new faces, there will be some old faces.
Yep. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, or you can find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, or anywhere else you can find a podcast. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs. What?
Hold on.
What?
I also wanted to shout out my other podcast.
You already did.
Again. I know, I mentioned it, but I'm going to shout it out again.
3 times.
I didn't mention it 3 times.
Yeah, you did.
We're probably not okay. It's a mental health podcast. Remington's not on it, so he's being all shitty about it. We also play Pokemon. We do a Pokemon Nuzlocke randomizer. we play it like that. So get checked out on YouTube as well. We're probably not okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing. Look me up on Instagram if you want to see cute cats. I am at the full Brandon.
The full Brandon. You can see the full Brandon and his kitty. He for the record, for all of you watching and or listening, the cat is cute, and Brandon has full on become a cat dad. Like,
yeah, did not intend to.
It happened with such ferocity and vigor.
Yeah. I needed something. I was looking for something.
Yeah.
I had a hole.
And I love it, and it's super adorable, but I also have that part of me that just wants to make jokes.
Yeah, make jokes away.
But they're 100% out of love, and I am super happy that you have adopted a kitty. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. But oh my God, stop with the pictures. Just kidding. Keep them going.
I posted that I would do no more than 3 pictures of a cat a day. I didn't specify per social media, although I should have said 3 cat pictures per Facebook, 3 cat pictures per Instagram per day. But regardless.
And I follow you
Brandon.
on all of them. And
yeah, so you see cat pictures all day.
Yeah, all day. So it's pretty good. All right, people. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Now. Yep. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your touch sharp.
Good night.
Good night.